The assault on the guns at Brecourt Manor has become one of the most legendary small unit actions of World War II. Immortalised by the book and the TV series Band of Brothers, Lieutenant Dick Winters would lead a small unit against a stronger force in the assault on the guns. One of the many misdrops, Winters would find himself just outside Mere Eglise, and along with others from his stick, he would make his way to the 2nd Battalion headquarters at Le Grand Chemin. Winters, now finding himself in command of Easy Company, is summoned to 2nd Battalion headquarters. He's told that Dog Company have found a German artillery battery just to the south of their position in the grounds of the Manoir de Brecourt. Captain Clarence Hester turns to Winters and says, "There's fire along that hedgerow there. Take care of it." The battery at Brecourt Manor was equipped with 4 105mm howitzers and was protected at the front and the rear by machine gun positions. The guns were set into the hedgerows and positioned to face northeast towards Utah Beach. For the assault, Winters could only rely on 11 Easy Company men from a unit that normally numbered almost 200. Winters moved down this hedgerow to personally reconnoitre the position. He ruled out a frontal assault and opted to attack the position from their extreme left flank, with 2 machine gun teams providing support. Winters and Lieutenant Buck Compton would each lead an assault team to attack the battery. Compton, along with Malarkey and Garnier, would attack the MG position with hand grenades. At the same time, Winters, with Popeye Wynne, Joe Toy and Lorraine, would enter the position through the hedgerow. The assault teams, using the crude trench system, systematically destroyed the guns. Winters moved the machine gun teams forward to suppress the German MG42 positions. With the Germans suppressed, Winters then moved on to destroy the 3rd German artillery gun. With ammunition running low, Winters sends a runner back to Le Grand Chemin. 5 men from Dog and Fox Company are sent to reinforce, led by Lieutenant Ronald Spears. Lieutenant Spears would lead his men overground and take on the last gun at Brecourt Manor. For leading the assault on Brecourt Manor, Richard Winters would receive the Distinguished Service Cross, and 14 others from 2nd Battalion would receive medals for their part in silencing the guns. In the tiny village of Angoville stands a 12th century church. In the early hours of D-Day, 2 medics from the 101st Airborne Division landed nearby. Kenneth J. Moore and Robert E. Wright. The 2 medics decided that the church would be as good a place as any to set up their aid station. The thick stone walls offered protection, and the pews were ideal to seat the wounded. Even today, 80 years on, you can still see the bloodstains on the pews. Outside, a ferocious battle was taking place for the village. In the ceiling, there is evidence of that battle. A mortar round crashed through the ceiling, hitting the floor below. As if by some miracle, the mortar round was a dud and did not explode. On D-Day, the church became a sanctuary for the wounded. The 2 medics would treat over 80 casualties, both American and German. Outside the church, in a quiet corner of the cemetery, lays a shrine to one of the medics. It's here that the ashes of Richard E. Wright lay in rest. Next to Sainte Marie du Mont was Drop Zone C, allocated to units of the 501st and the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment. Some of those paratroopers found themselves landing just outside Sainte Marie du Mont, or in the town itself. Although the German garrison was small, they put up a dogged resistance, and throughout the night, ferocious firefights ensued in the streets of Sainte Marie du Mont. Two soldiers of the 506, First Sergeant David Rogers and Sergeant Major Isaac Cole, fought their way to the top of the church tower. Bullet holes are still visible throughout the church, evidence of the skirmishes that took place. One paratrooper took up position in a recess between the water pump, killing several of the enemy. the town would be liberated in the afternoon of D-Day with the arrival of tanks and infantry from Utah Beach. Nine kilometers from Sainte Marie du Mont, not far from Utah Beach, is the small village of Raveneville. Nearby is Marmion Farm. On D-Day, the farm was a key defensive position held by the Germans. Isolated groups of paratroopers who landed in the area are patched up by John Stopka. Stopka leads the assault on the farm, killing 6 Germans and taking 24 prisoner. The farm became a strong point for the mixed units defending this position. A close inspection of the farm buildings shows just how thick the walls were and what a formidable defensive position this was. It's said the farm is haunted by 2 tragic events. The lady at the farm hung herself in one of the rooms, and her husband, discovering her body, hung himself too. And on D-Day, a German soldier hung himself in the same room. On one of the farm buildings, you can see an embrasure cut out of the stone wall. It was possible this was used to house an anti-tank gun. The town of Mere Eglise was strategically important, controlling the route nationale from Cotentin to Cherbourg. Over 75% of the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment 82nd Airborne Division would land on target on Drop Zone O. But elements of F Company were dropped right over the town. One paratrooper, John Steele, would be hung up on the bell tower. By 5 o'clock that morning, the German garrison withdrew, and the 505th would take over St. Mere Eglise. short distance down the road from the church square is a communal wash place. One of the many misdrops, L. McClung of the 506 PIR 101st Airborne landed on top of this building and his parachute was caught on top of the roof. 2 German soldiers had spotted L. McClung's parachute coming down. McClung would use his jump knife to kill the first German. He then shot the second German soldier with his dead comrade's weapon. In 1944, the town hall was the headquarters for the German Civil Affairs Office. This car park is the location of one of the many misdrops of Easy Company. Carwood Lipton landed right on this spot. Just a short distance north from the town hall is the former hospice, which in 1944 became aid station number 2. And on that same road, a huge German counterattack with tanks and infantry was stopped in its tracks. No trip to Sainte Mere Eglise would be complete without a visit to the superb museum located in the corner of the town square. The bridge at La Fiere was a key objective for the 82nd Airborne Division, as it controlled one of the main routes into Sainte Mere Eglise. The bridge at La Fiere controlled one of the few crossing points over the Mere River. Next to the bridge was a large group of farmhouse buildings which had commanding views directly over the bridge and the approach on the causeway. In 1944, the area between La Fiere and Courcagny was flooded by the Germans. Defending Lafayette were elements of the 82nd Airborne Division. To the west, they were faced by elements of the 91st Luftlandedivision. Division. In an heroic stand, the two berserker teams would knock out the 3 tanks leading the assault. On the 7th and 9th of June, the 82nd Airborne Division would attempt to cross the causeway. Finally, on the 9th, with assistance from the 90th Division, they would move into Courcigny. The action at Lafayette has been described as the bloodiest small unit struggle in the experience of American arms.